Hey everyone. So tonight we have a very special guest, Alexandra. Thank you so much for joining.
Thanks for having me.
So can you just tell everyone a little bit about yourself?
So I'm 32. I am a single mom. I was married to my ex-husband for 10 years, very long. But we went through ups and downs as well, just like I've seen with your story. I'm also a recovering addict, and I have about 380 days on me now.
That's
I'm
awesome.
perfectly happy, doing way better, getting along with my ex-husband, getting along with his girlfriend. My son's happy. I'm also a survivor of a lot of things. I've been through the ringer as well, a lot of mental and physical abuse, but my most recent was physical, and I also just know what it's like to still continue to battle with figuring out mental abuse completely. Um, but I am doing much better with everything going on in my life now. I've gone through the ringer and now I'm building back up. So things are doing a lot better than it was a year ago.
That's amazing. And every day it's one step at a time and you're doing the best you can. But
Yes.
so now you have been through a lot with the system and you're in Canada, right?
Yes.
And
I am in
so
Canada.
um are there any things that you have seen in the Canadian system that are different than the States from what you've seen, like things I've posted and stuff like that?
Yes. So one thing that I truly don't understand, I'm not gonna lie, with because I don't know how the American system works, right? I don't understand why not automatically in this case you would automatically be given a children's lawyer. So here it's called OCL. So Ontario Children's Lawyers. So they're automatically assigned if it's in a case like what I've seen happen with you. Our case was a little different. We were asked automatically, do you want to have OCL? And they would not have continued. They would have signed it, and me and my ex-husband would have no say whatsoever. We did not decide to go that route just because we had no real reason to. But that is something I have always noticed. I don't understand why it wasn't automatically assigned. DCF, I do not understand DCF in the States.
Do you guys have that?
No, we have CAS, so Children's Aid Society.
Okay.
Um, put it this way, even with all the crap that I went through, I did not have CAS called on me ever. We went to court standing sitting in front of the judge just like this on Zoom, and they said, "Did either of you call CAS?" We're like, "No." We had to call CAS on each other. So even in that case, they came here. I'm not kidding you. They give you so much praise for trying to fix yourself and fix your life. All I ever hear in every video I've seen on this app with TikTok and everything, it's DCF just wants to take your kids. They don't care. They don't care about you. They don't care about the dad. They don't care about the kids. I'm sorry. That's my personal opinion. Completely different.
No, I
Um,
agree.
yeah, so I will also say from watching your videos with the judge, it absolutely drives me crazy how many times she interrupts you, how many times she degrades you, and like it drives me crazy that people don't understand why the heck you're getting so defensive about your daughter. It's just honestly, I'm like, what makes you think a mom wouldn't react that way? Um, my judge actually told my ex-husband like he needs to calm down a bit because I'm actually sitting in front of her and admitting all my faults. They all rooted for me. CAS has rooted for me. Everybody. I have never had anybody in my corner saying you're a piece of crap, where I feel that's all I ever hear in your videos at all with court. And that drives me crazy. Um, and then on top of it, the protective order thing. So you are very, very smart about following that. I would not be able to do. As for the phone calls, it absolutely drives me insane when I hear any videos about anybody in the States saying that I have to be here to supervise the call. No, you don't. Actually, you really don't. Welcome to protective orders. You're actually not supposed to be anywhere near her. So goodbye. And then I also am under supervised visits. And my ex-husband literally tells my son, go over there, like go have your private call. He does not supervise the calls. He knows he's not allowed to.
So
So that
a
is
couple of things
something that's
like
different.
you the a lot of the stuff that you pointed out is just showing how much fraud and illegal stuff that they did in my case. Number one,
Exactly.
in the States, like they'll call it like a GAL, a guardian ad litem, or an
Okay.
AMC, an attorney for the minor child. And like usually
Oh,
like
okay.
in high conflict cases, most of the time the court will appoint a GAL, a lawyer for the child, and they're supposed to be a neutral third party that serves for the best interest of the child. It's not the dad's lawyer, it's not the mom's lawyer, it's for the child, but they're not doing what the child wants. They're doing what's in the child's best interest, which is
Yeah.
different from an AMC, which usually is for older kids, where an AMC is actually like the child's attorney and they're supposed to like argue for what does the kid want. So if the kid's like 13 and they're like, I really want to live with my mom, then the the children's lawyer is supposed to be like, okay, well, my client wants to live with their mom. But most of the
Oh, okay.
time, like everybody gets a GAL and people complain all the time
Mhm.
that the GALs are corrupt and stuff, but everybody gets one. Well, in my case, when I had a lawyer, he filed a motion for a GAL and Grossman denied it. I filed a motion myself 3 times after that asking for a GAL, and Grossman's response was order, see order from May 31st, 2023. When you look at the order from May 31st, 2023, it's the long order that she wrote that says that I'm such a terrible person and that I lied about the sexual abuse and that Matt has sole custody and I have to be on supervised visits and blah, 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 blah. So that was her response. She's basically like, go fuck yourself. This is staying in a, we're not changing anything and you guys aren't getting a GAL. And I think that they were scared to give me one because they know that a lot of times like these GALs will do fraud and play people and stuff, but like they know that
Yeah.
like I was in law school. They know that I was like asking questions and like calling them out on what they're doing. So of course,
Yeah.
and when there's real abuse, the GAL is supposed to be like, "Hey guys, it's in the child's best interest to not be with the abuse." Instead of
Yeah. Of
letting us have a
course.
GAL who would have said she's better off without me, I mean without him,
Hmm.
instead of letting us have somebody to advocate for her, they turned around and refused to give us one. So usually they do give them, but in our case they wouldn't. Everyone else gets one except us.
I just don't understand the way the crap works, honestly. Listened to the court hearing again the other day about where I saw the comments before about, oh, maybe it's because of the way you acted. I'm sorry. Why don't you go be a mother and tell me you wouldn't react like that in court? You're being told to basically shut up,
And
constantly
also
interrupting you.
that's another
But
thing is that if you act emotional or act upset or disruptive or whatever word you want to use, if you act like that in court, that is not grounds to lose custody. That is not
no,
grounds to go on supervised visits. That is not grounds
no,
for any of that. And you know what she did in her order? She said in the order that mother's access will be as determined by the father in the presence of a third party designated by the father. And it also said mothers may also get FaceTime calls monitored by the father. So that's why in the calls, it says
she
FaceTime's
says that.
monitored by the father, but he'll say in every call, whether it's a FaceTime or not, I'm supervising the call, supervising the call.
Then shut up in the background, Matt.
Yeah.
Like,
And he would harass me. And like um during the calls, like he would talk to me when there was a protective order that protected me from him that said it's a felony if he contacts me. He would
yeah.
talk during the calls just to bother me because it's like imagine if somebody said like if this person says one word to you, it's a felony. And they keep talking to you every day and you go to the police every day and you show them the recording like, look, they talked to me again. They broke the order again. Can you arrest them? And the police are like, well, we're not sure if it's a violation. Let's see what the court says. And then they ask the court, the court's like, no, it's not a violation, but it is a violation.
It
So
is a
it's like
violation.
anyone's gonna go drive themselves crazy because it's like you're literally being treated different and you're basically
Hmm.
being told like, sorry, but the law doesn't apply to you. The law applies to everybody else except you. But when it's me who has a protective order that protects him, like it is now,
Yeah.
they arrested me in October for going to her pediatrician's office and it didn't violate anything. I didn't violate. The order doesn't say I can't go near him. The order doesn't say I can't
Yeah.
go to her pediatrician appointment. And so what
Yeah.
did I? They said I interfered with him because I went there and they arrested me and charged me with a felony. But when he violated the no contact over 100 times, they wouldn't arrest him. And I found out through the grapevine that he's actually a confidential informant that works for the police, and that's
I
why
wouldn't be surprised.
they won't arrest their own CIs because that's their they need them. And
And this is where he loves to always like, of course, I don't see him on TikTok. I don't even know if he's on here, but this is where you hear recordings where he makes it sound like you're some crazy person that's making these delusions up in your damn head. And it's like, it's so cute how narcs do that. Like
exactly.
honestly, like it's actually pathetic. And that's the other thing too with how for the sorry, for the temporary order I had with my ex-husband, it was he had sole residency, not sole decision making. Everything still had to go through me, doctor's appointments, everything. They don't take that away unless they take all your rights away. So I don't know if that's a huge difference with like what you guys have, but there's nothing that makes it so I can't go to appointments. I can't do anything to do with school. None of that stuff. Not that we've ever had that issue. That's the thing. It's like, I'm like, man, how long does this have to go on for? For you to
Yeah.
continue to be doing this? Like, it's toxic. And then with
Yeah.
how upset you get in court, and that's understandable. I'm not saying it's not. Do you guys, I genuinely had this question because I've watched the videos. Do you guys not have the support thing at court where you can say, I need a support person in court with me because I have a mental health condition that I can't control my emotions all the time?
You can ask for it, but they don't even let the person stand next to you. They make the
Oh,
person they can't even stand next to you, and it's like pulling teeth just to ask. They make you have to ask for
that's
a disability accommodation, and then they start saying like, "Oh, well, you don't really have a disability, and why do you need this?" and blah blah blah. And like under federal law, we have like the Americans with Disabilities Act, which basically
hmm
says like any like public place, like a courthouse, like a police station, like any even a supermarket, like anything open to the public has to
yeah.
accommodate for people with disabilities. And you can't be if it's a public thing like court, they can't deny you access based on your disability. And so it's like when I would try to say, like, look, I have PTSD, I have ADHD, it's not easy to like go in there like a superstar lawyer when you're like dealing with severe trauma and it's
No.
emotional because it's about your kid. Like, who's gonna go in there like a robot with no emotions? Nobody.
Um, Definitely a
Sociopaths.
psychopath
Yeah.
or a sociopath, narcissist.
Matthew
They can turn
Lodice.
on tears. Yes. Yeah, Matt. My gosh, no, it just I can't believe even the way the court order was written for you for supervisors. Like it would
Yeah.
had to have
Like
names
Like he has to
on
pick a
mine.
supervisor and there's no schedule. There's no set schedule, no set supervisor, nothing. So I would be
That's
begging
horrible.
him every single day. I would beg him morning to night. When can I see Angelina? He would read my message and leave me on read with a timestamp of when he read it. And I'd be like, hello, when can I talk? When can I see my daughter? Ignore, ignore, ignore. Or he would answer and be like, oh, you have to plan a proper supervised visit, blah, blah. So I'd be like, okay, well, can you give me a schedule so that I can find a supervisor
Yeah,
and make arrangements? Then he'd stop responding. Or he'd be like, so
yeah.
he would say, any Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday during the day. When he knew that I was in law school during those times, he would like stalk me, find my schedule, and he would only offer times when I had school or when I had other things that were going on. And like he would say like
So we did on
during the day,
purpose.
Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, but you have to let me know at least one day in advance. So I would try to say to him on like a Sunday, can I see her tomorrow? Wouldn't answer. Or he would be like, oh, what during the day? What do you mean during the day? During the day could mean anything. You're not giving me a set time so that in like, okay,
No.
let's say I was going to ask you to supervise, right? If I call
hmm
you and I'm like, hey, can you supervise for me on Monday? What are you going to ask me? You're going to say, yeah, what time? Where?
What
What time?
time?
Yeah. What are the details? And I'd be
I
like,
got
well,
things to do too.
I, he would want me to tell him who the supervisor was before he gave me the details. But then who the hell is going to be sitting around all day twiddling their thumbs waiting to be asked on standby to be the supervisor? And then he would be like, "Oh, this person can't ever supervise again because they were an hour late." Or, "Oh, this person I told you guys you have to only stay in Waterbury and you went to your house. So they're never allowed to supervise again. He told my mom on August 27th, 2023, he told my mom that she could never see my daughter again. He told her that she was banned from supervising because she let us stop at my house for 5 minutes. And Angelina begged to go inside to see her toys and see all her things. And we stopped at
Yeah.
the on my house. We stopped at to get from my garden some tomatoes, cucumbers from the garden. Stop inside for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Angelina go when we dropped her off, she's like, "Daddy, mommy went to her house." And I recorded this, and he was like, "Oh, did you go there too?" And she's like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Don't worry, you're never gonna see Yaya again." And that's my mom. So it's like he's literally telling her that they're being punished because we weren't allowed to go to my house. But the court order didn't say we can't go to my house. He made that up. He would make up rules, and then he would say, like, "Oh, if you want to see her, you have to go in this park that's near my house, and you can only see her for 30 minutes." It's a 40-minute drive to get there and a 40-minute drive back. So I'm going to drive 40 minutes, see her for
Oh
30
my
minutes in
God.
a park, and then drive back. And the park would have like no bathroom, just a porta potty. And it was like the city he lives in is like a ghetto, dangerous, violent city. If you look at my state in Connecticut, it's
Mhm.
the worst place you could live, the worst school systems, high crime, violence. It's not
Oh
the
my
kind of place you want to
God.
raise a little girl. And the
No.
parks, like last time we went to that park, it was like dirty. There's like trash everywhere. And it's like, at our house, we had a playroom. We had all her toys,
Yeah.
everything, all her birthday presents. And like, I had like bounce houses and like fun stuff, like a pool. Nope, he wants us to go in the dirty, disgusting park and with no bathroom and use a porta potty where people are like shooting up and there's needles everywhere. And that's what I
And
want my 4-year-old to do. Like it's disgusting. And
that's
so,
exactly why I don't go to the park in my hometown. I live with my parents right now, which is like 30 minutes away where my ex-husband is. Just because I came here to get away from everybody. And even he said, like, I hate when you're in Keswick. And I'm like, so do I. He's like, because I just know from your past, like, you're gonna see people, it's gonna set you off, and then you're gonna try to go to those parks that you think are so nice now. And he's like, Alex, there's needles everywhere. Our town is very bad for drug use. Where I am, no. Like I'm fine where it is here. He'd rather me be here. And
yeah,
even now, I'm still technically on supervision. He's like, whatever, go to the park by yourself. Like, I don't care. Like
yeah.
it's the thing is I got sober. I got better. I did all the things he wanted me to do because he truly wanted me to be the mom I was prior to all this shit I was doing. And then that's what happened. And the thing is, oh, does it ever make me angry when I hear Matt say mommy's sick?
I know. And it's like, you know what?
It
It's
makes me
so
mad.
insulting because it's like, you know what? There's no shame in saying like somebody has an addiction, a problem, they have to get better, go to rehab, whatever. Like that would be understandable if like mommy was in
Mhm.
rehab or mommy was in hospital or mommy was in jail and she has to get better and then you can see her. But that simply wasn't the case. And
No,
for 10
exactly.
and for 10 straight months, I had sole legal and sole physical custody of Juliana, but
Yeah.
supervised visits only of Angelina. So that's like
And then they try to say, no,
the biggest joke of it all. How can I be fit to be a sole guardian of one kid, but
no,
the other kid I need to supervise? And I was never doing drugs. I was in
no.
therapy for PTSD from my own childhood trauma. I had been in
Yeah.
therapy my whole life, and my therapist submitted, the court asked for our records from therapy. Matt
Mhm.
refused to sign off on it. He saw a therapist when we were together. And when they told him he has to sign a release to get his records from therapy, he said he
Yeah.
didn't remember the name and he refused to sign it. And they told us that if we didn't sign the release, we'd be in trouble. He didn't sign it and they didn't do anything. They didn't make him be in trouble. And I tried to subpoena his therapist, and the the um the judge blocked me from getting a subpoena because they know that I'll be able to prove what I'm saying. That's the same reason
Oh
she
my
blocked me
God.
from showing evidence. Like they they know I would win if I was able to show my proof and show my evidence and bring my witnesses. So what do? They don't give me a trial. They don't let me show evidence. They violate my rights. And then they know that they're going to keep destroying me mentally and it's going to be hard for me to keep fighting back. And then they threaten any lawyer who tries to help me. So I can't get an actual good ethical lawyer to help me. And yeah. So it's
And
it's
then they
very
try to make it
difficult.
sound like you're the one dismissing everybody for fun. Like that's
Yeah.
literally all I hear coming out of their mouths half the time. And like, see, also the other thing I'm like, how does she know all these laws? But clearly you were a law student. But you like
Yeah.
quote things. And I'm like, how are they shutting you down? If I was doing that, man, my ex-husband would probably look at me and be like, when did you get an education on this? But that's not how I'm ever treated. Even my lawyer now, he told me, he's like, right at that time when everything started, I was just getting into recovery and all that stuff, right? So he's like, you don't have the upper hand right now. I'm like, true. So he said even to me when we finished, he's like, you want to get, when you get sober, get a year sober. If things are still shit, release everything you have. I have 14 years literally sitting here in front of me. My ex-husband knows it too. It can still be used. And I didn't realize how powerful our court system became here until they actually, like, I went and spoke to people, the support team and everything. And even them, they said COVID was the reason. Caused such a mental health crisis in our country that people are constantly going in there and where they were dealing with abuse all the time. So there's so many women that are so powerful, and all I hear is like, I don't even know the way the court used to be, like screw women in your videos or in like recordings. That's all I hear. Where me,
Yeah.
no, it was essentially a big F you to my ex-husband, especially when he tried to say, I don't even care what's going on TikTok, but literally, he tried to say it cost. I had to pay $1,200 for missing an in-person court date. His lawyer sent me an email stating that, so I proved it. And he didn't know. In all fairness, he didn't know that she told me it was supposed to be in person. I was told it was Zoom. So I was sitting there, sitting here on Zoom, and then they tried to charge me $1,200. The judge, sorry, he looked at his lawyer and was like, "No, she just proved it. Read the stuff I submitted. Well, my lawyer submitted, and then she just kind of." I don't know. She changed her opinion on me. And then she's even said, I commend you for the fact that you were trying to get better. You're trying to get sober. You're admitting all your faults right now in this courtroom. And I'm like, yep. Not once was anybody rude to me, and that pissed him off at that time. Not now. Like, we're fine now. Like, literally, I went over there 4 days ago and broke down telling him, like, I feel you wish I was still an addict. You wish I was dead and all this horrible stuff. And he just looked at me. He's like, why do you think that? And I'm like, I don't know. I guess my mind just thinks that. He sat there and reassured me. He didn't need to do that. Why the hell would he need to do that? Like, who cares? Matt does not want you to be happy. End of story. He doesn't want you to be happy. And I hate when I hear the new recordings. I can hear how he's turning Angelina against you. And it's really starting to bug me. I want
Yeah.
to jump through the phone every time and punch him in the face. And I don't care that I'm saying this on a podcast.
Yeah,
Like,
it's really
literally.
sad. And like, I have like a lot like get a lot of respect for you for being able to admit that, this was something that you struggled with in the past. You got help and now you're better. And so it's like to be able to
Yeah.
say, look, I made a mistake. I learned from it. Now I'm doing better. That takes a lot of maturity and, it shows that you're willing to do what you have to do. Me, on the other hand, I never I can't sit here and say that I did anything wrong because
You
I
didn't.
didn't. I really
You
didn't.
didn't.
And this lady, the judge, she herself just it says in the court dates, the judge is diagnosing me, saying that you have untreated mental health issues. You have undiagnosed mental health. You're a fucking judge. You are
Where's your
not a
PhD, bitch?
psychiatrist. And I said to her, just because you have a bachelor's degree in psychology does not mean that you're a psychologist. And she got so mad. She wrote in her little order, oh, Miss Antar made personal insults about the court because she has a bachelor's in psychology. And it's like, okay, well, stop trying to diagnose me and act like you're a psychiatrist. That's another
Yeah.
illegal. You're overstepping your boundaries. And when I filed a complaint, I tried to file a lawsuit. I tried to do everything. I tried to ask for
Mhm.
a different judge. She would just force me to only see her. And then what was worst thing of all is that after she switched to custody to him, she put an order saying that I can't file anything ever again unless I get permission from the court. So imagine if it's like an emergency and you try to go file an emergency motion and they're like, sorry, the court denied you permission to file this emergency motion. So it's like you're trapped. Like, and they said the only thing that they could ever let us go back for was about me paying him child support when he still owes me 15,000 in child support from when she was with me that he refused to pay. And they don't care. They're not making him pay it, but they're literally trying to put like warrants out saying that I need to go pay for him or they're going to put me in jail until I pay it. And to get out, I have to pay, which is also unconstitutional. And the Supreme Court has already said that putting somebody in jail for not paying a debt is illegal and unconstitutional, but they do it every day in child support court. But when people speak up and say, hey, by the way, the Supreme Court said you can't do that, it's illegal, they'll try to put you in jail, they'll try to shut you up, try to put you in a mental hospital. And like, I know people like this one girl from California, she's been sitting in jail with no bond since April and she's never been arrested. She was
What?
arrested for custodial interference because she tried to keep her daughter away from her ex-husband who was like sexually abusing the daughter. She said she was coming back like all bloody and the daughter was like 2 3 years old and the police
Oh
wouldn't
my
help
God.
her. The ex-husband, the judge was his next door neighbor, and the girl tried to leave and go in another state and get to safety, and US Marshals came and knocked her door down and put her in jail, and she's been in jail and she has no bond at all. I talked to her husband, and so she's being held without bail. Even murderers get a bail. Like,
That is so messed up. Like, why are women, aka moms, treated like this in the States? Like, I truly don't get it because I'm not treated like that
it's like a
here.
war on
And
women. And
that's
also,
crazy.
a lot of it has to do with like there's the federal government because there's like the federal government applies to all the states and it's supposed to be like the federal trumps the state. So it's like the states can make whatever laws they want in their own state government as long as it doesn't conflict with the federal laws and as long as it doesn't conflict with the Constitution.
Oh
So
my God.
when a state makes a law that's unconstitutional, they'll keep that unconstitutional law on the books until somebody challenges it. And when somebody wants to challenge it, it's a long, complicated, expensive process that if you don't have the resources or education or anything to know what to do, you're not going to get very far. And like even if you go through the highest court in the state, if you want to go to the
Mhm.
United States Supreme Court, they get like 300,000 applications a year and they only hear like 2,000, 3,000 of them. So it's like they pick and
Holy
choose which ones
crap.
they want to hear. They'll pick ones that are very political or ones that are ones they want to hear, like abortion, things like that. But if it's
That's
like,
so crazy.
and they also
That is
did
so
is,
different.
yeah, and the federal government also like they reserved all the stuff to do with custody and divorce to the states. So the states have no oversight. And in the federal laws, they have money for like the fatherhood
Mhm.
initiative. It's like the fatherhood funding where they give money to the states every time that they give custody to a dad. So like there's more of a financial incentive that actually they
Oh
and
my
also with
God.
child support, every time they order child support, the federal government will pay them like 70 cents for every dollar and it goes to the judge's pension. So it's like there's more of an incentive for them to like drag it on forever and then they'll say like, "Oh, go in the um go in supervised visits and pay $150 an hour, go in reunification therapy and go with the psychiatrist and spend go for drug testing and spend $500 every time to get tested." Like, and they'll make you do this for years and years and years until you go bankrupt and lose everything.
I guess I didn't really think about that. You guys can't just like go into a doctor's office the same like we can, right?
Yeah, there's no free health insurance unless you're like really poor,
Yeah.
then you can get like they call it like Medicaid, which is like for poor people and stuff. But if you work and if you
Mhm.
have like an average income, you'll make too much money that you won't be able to get that. And even if you have a good job and they give you medical, they're taking out so much money from your paycheck that you're basically paying for it yourself. And you're not using it every month. You don't go to the doctor every single day,
No,
So
no.
there's a lot of
That
bad
is
things.
so different. Oh my, I guess because I'm just so used, and I know our healthcare is not free. I understand we pay it in high taxes, but I would rather do that, obviously, right, than walk in and have to pay every time. But I had to do drug testing at the beginning of our stuff because I was getting sober. I didn't pay for that. I walked right in and, piss in a cup. they do it, but it doesn't cost us money. So I didn't care, but that would be a whole other argument. I would have ended up fighting. Like, if you want me to get tested, you could pay for it.
Yeah, and you know
Like
what's
that.
crazy? In June of 2023, she put in another order where she said that I lied about all the sexual abuse allegations, that the court can't figure out why I'm lying, and that because I keep lying, they need me to do a psychological evaluation by a PhD level psychiatrist and to see why I'm lying. So
I'm
when I read
sorry.
that, I was
Okay.
like, what a joke. So I tried, and she didn't put in the order like, oh, you're ordered to go get evaluated by such and such person or whatever. So I was like,
Hmm.
okay, well, she didn't make it like a specific order. She just kind of like threw that in there. But I was
Hmm.
like, just to be thorough, I'm gonna just try to make my own appointment for to get an evaluation. I called every single PhD level psychiatrist that was in the state. And as soon
Yeah.
as I said to them that it had to do with court, they said to me, one, the insurance won't pay for it. And two, that they can't do it unless there's a court order specifically saying that it has to go with them. And I looked more into it, and it's like the reason why they won't take insurance is because it's not actually supported by like medicine or science. These custody mental health evaluations that they do to see if you're like fit, it's like
Hmm.
pseudoscience. It's not even like recognized by the insurance company as like a medical thing. It's
Oh
all
my God.
nonsense that they're doing. So it's just,
That's so messed up. That
yeah.
is
And
actually so messed up how different it is. Like, very mind-blowing to me. And like, I don't even care if you do have a mental health issue in any way. I literally don't. As a parent, Matt, shut the F up. Do not talk about that with a child. Do you think my son truly knows what I was doing? No.
huh.
My ex-husband wanted to literally probably punch me in the face at that time. And even then, nothing came out of their mouth, him or his girlfriend. Nothing. They just said that mommy is struggling right now and she just needs to figure some stuff out, blah, blah, blah. Do you think they said mommy's an addict? No. Do you think
Oh, if
they
it was
said my
Matt, he would
mental
have said
health?
that for sure.
Exactly, and that's why I got so mad. And when I showed that video to my mom, I then show it to my ex-husband. He's like, even I didn't say that to Bryson. And I said, I know.
I know, right? Matt's like the textbook definition of like narcissist.
Yeah. Oh my
So
God,
now
that's what I'm saying. Like, oh my God, I don't know how you don't go, fuck you, man.
takes a lot of
You're
self-control.
a lot. I gotta give you some serious credit for that one. I don't know how you do it. Like
Yeah. And then
it'd
today,
be
like
hard.
I got a notification yesterday from the lab that my daughter went in for blood work, asking to fill out a survey about her experience, which they must have had my information. And I don't know
Yeah.
why the hell a 5-year-old is getting blood tests done, but she missed
Yeah.
so much school. So I ended up calling the police today and asking for a wellness check hours ago. And I posted that. You think the police called me back? Do you think that they bothered to even go there? No. That's how,
No.
imagine you call the police and 8 hours later they still didn't go, or they do go, but they don't even call you back. And like, let's check my phone again. Nobody called me. And so I tried calling him because of course he told me, he said I can never talk to Angelina again unless I permanently delete every social media platform that I have,
Oh my
including
God.
Linktree. And he wants me to
Classic
have no
narcissist.
social media ever again, or else calls are terminated forever. So that's why it was terminated back in August, right? Because
Oh
I
my
posted a
God.
picture on Instagram and he was upset. So, anyways, but back to what I was saying. So I called him
Oh,
to try
I
to
just want
talk
to
to
complain to him.
Angelina because like once in a while I'll try to call just because I know he's not gonna let me talk to her, but at least I'm showing an effort.
Yeah.
So I tried to call and he answers and he's like, hello, hello, what do you want? Hello, like trying to bait me to respond when he
Yeah.
knows that I can't say anything. And then
Yeah.
I can hear Angelina in the background, and he's still, instead of saying, like, Angelina, mommy's on the phone, he doesn't even tell her and he just hangs up on me. Then I called again. He keeps saying, hello, hello, hello. And then he texts me. He goes, you called question mark. Are you
Oh my
kidding
God.
me? And then he texts me again. Why would you call and say nothing? are you fucking kidding me?
Because you're
And this
not
is like,
allowed to.
it's like him, and like any person would just text back and be like, you fucking idiot. And like, this is what he wants. Like,
Yeah.
he wants like me to text back. That's why I don't respond. Like, and
Oh
it's,
my God.
but when it was the other way around and he couldn't talk to me, he talked every time and the police wouldn't do anything. But if it's me, they arrest me for no reason. So it's just so unfair. But I know you said like things have gotten better with you and your ex. And so can you say a little bit
Yeah.
about like, the importance of like getting help and like mental health treatment? Because I think people are so quick to like attack people for their mental health, but everybody at the end of the day has stuff that they struggle with. And whether it's the narcissistic personality disorder or, PTSD, bipolar, like everybody has issues. So what do you think helped your ex get to where he is now?
I think that after my attempt on unaliving myself, that he saw what are the odds that he lived on the same street as my ex-boyfriend that I just broke up with? Literally, it was very annoying. So he watched me walk out of that house. That was his wake up to see I didn't care anymore. I was just done. So that's when he dove into realizing I need to do what's best for our son, and so did I. And I'm not gonna lie, at the time I was like, to your girlfriend. But I realized she was the one who actually got him to slowly realize that he needed to start talking about what was going on inside his body with his own feelings. She knew I was doing what I needed to do. But basically, he needed to go and talk to somebody about all this shit because at the end of our relationship, I became the abuser. Let's be real, like after so many years, that happens, okay? It's also that's where I go into reactive abuse. And then he basically just saw I was going through so much and not talking to him about it that he actually just recently asked me 2 weeks ago, why did you ever not come to me about anything? And I'm like, because why? So you can trash me and be horrible? And then he's like, no, I just want you to be a better mom for Bryson. And guess what? Bryson is now asking to be back with you. And I was like, okay. And I'm like, how do you feel about that? He's like, I've been truly working on myself so much. I just want what's best for our son. I don't care about my personal feelings, my past issues with you. It doesn't matter. We can deal with that on the side. What matters is Bryson. He stopped, realized he needed to put his pride down and worry about what's best for our child. And so did I. And I don't think I would have been able to do that if I wasn't sober. I do believe that me and him would still be at each other's throats if I was not sober. So we kind of just had that serious talk where it was, what is important to us? Our pride or our son's happiness? Obviously, our son's happiness.
And did
So
he
we
did he do like therapy and before he wasn't? Was it like a new thing?
he did therapy when we were together, but he didn't take it seriously. Not one bit. I don't think he started to take stuff on his own mental health seriously until he got with this girlfriend he's with. And I always say, like, me and him were not meant to be married in a relationship. We were meant to bring Bryce into this world. That was all we were useful for. Uh, we're just not meant to be together. Those two together, totally different story. She has opened his mind so much more to the world to understand that other people suffer with things. You need to be compassionate to other people about their feelings. And he totally has done a complete 360 since he's been with her. Like he's just I don't mean to sound mean, but like he is a nicer person than
That's
who he
good.
was at the
So
end
she's
of
a
our
good
marriage.
influence then.
Yes, and see, I hate it because I went on TikTok live when I first started getting a lot of viewers, and I'm such an asshole. I went on there and said he was a horrible father. He is not a horrible father in the slightest way whatsoever. Like, I should never have said that. He may have been an asshole to me, and I was a bitch to him, but when it comes to raising our child, no. No, he doesn't go anywhere. He does not discourage his son from not talking to me, like none of that crap. Even in the court order, it was the video calls or whatever. He would literally tell our son, like, I don't care. about you say, I don't want to sit on the phone. Sit down and talk to your mother. And he would leave the room. Like he was always very respectful in that way. He pays for him. He does the extra stuff that I can't do right now. Well, I'm starting to get better now, but regardless, he has never sat there and done anything bad in this past year since I started getting sober because he doesn't want to tip me back over the edge. So I wouldn't say all the 3 years prior. No, it's only been in the last like year that we started getting along better. But I do believe that me and him having great conversations with his girlfriend, who kind of just made us open up our mind. She sees things so differently. I
Does she have
don't know
kids?
how. Pardon?
Does she have any kids?
Yeah, she has three.
Okay. So there you go. She's a mom, so she gets it.
Yes, and she's always been so nice to me. I was such an to her when I first met her. But it was like just the bitter ex-wife drama. Like, whatever. It is what it is. She did not ever hold it against me. You could even go up to her to this day and say something to her about it. She'll be like, I don't see that person. I see this one. And she doesn't hold on to it. Where my ex, he has an issue with holding on to things just as much as I do. So she's kind of been helping us both. I'm not gonna lie. We got our own therapist, but then we also got her.
Can she come help
But
us? I'm just kidding.
yeah, I know. Seriously. Oh my gosh. Like it drives me crazy. It's the reference of mommy is sick that set me off the other day because like I said, I tried to unalive myself and those two didn't even say that to my son. Mommy's
I know,
sick.
because like who says that and who lies? And like what really get to me is like they gave him full control. If he wanted to, he could have let me have a visit every day. He could have let me have her overnight. He could have let me have her a whole month straight. But he decided
Yeah.
to only let me have her for less than 3 days in a period of a year and a half. So imagine only seeing your son for 3 days in 18
Yeah.
months. And it's spread
I
out where it's like 1 hour and then you don't see her
know.
for 3 months and then you see her for 30 minutes and then you see her for nothing for 3 months. And then it's like there's no consistency. She never knows when she's going to see me. And I never know when I'm going to see her. So you're always on like the edge. Like you can't ever make plans. You can't have a normal life. You can't have a job. And I
No,
literally like lost everything just fighting for this. And none of this would have happened if
she's
if I had never spoken up about the sexual abuse allegations. He would have never cared about the
no.
custody arrangement. He was fine with me having primary residency her whole life. He had no problem with me being with her every day until I said what his son did. Then all of a sudden, now she needs to be removed from me. And it was like such a cover up. And, you
It's
know,
not right. It's so messed up. And like I remember when I first came across your video, I was like, oh my, I watched it. I ran out to my mom. It was like, I don't even know, 2 months into me getting sober. I ran out to her and I'm like, watch this. I'm not even gonna tell you the context. Watch this. She's like, uh, looks at me, she's like, is she humping that stuffed animal? I said, yep. Do you see the issue here? And she's like, yeah. And so she's been watching this stuff with
but
me.
that's
I'm
coached,
starting to feel
remember?
sick.
According to
No,
the
it
court,
is
according
so
to the
not
court,
cool.
that was coached and that
This
was a
is how
lie.
you know when my son's being coached. CAS has even caught it. This is what he does.
Yeah, how do you coach a
He-
3-year-old? I
No,
guess my daughter
exactly.
deserves an Oscar for her Oscar winning performance that was coached.
I'm sorry, but I would love to know how you coached. What? Did you grab something bigger and start
Yeah,
humping it in order to go do it? Like,
they're basically
honestly.
saying I trained her to do that and
Oh
and forced her to do that. That's what Matt says.
no. Like you literally ask her to repeat what she's saying and like what do you mean? And no. Honestly, and this is where I will say this, I give CAS the tiniest bit of credit. They do pay attention to that. They very much pay attention to see if things are coached because Scott kept like my ex, he kept trying to say that I was coaching and coercing him to lie. And then they had a private convo with him, made me leave, and they said, there's no way you're coercing him to say anything. I'm aware.
Yeah.
And so we started picking, now he's 6. So we started picking up on things, which is the whole, like he does that in answers. So we know he's lying. Um, and now
That's
he's
so
in that
cute.
phase of, we know he's in the phase right now too, where he'll tell his dad something that he did and got in trouble. And then he'll say, I told him to do it. He's trying to turn us against each other, and then we'll call each other, and we'll put it on video. This is what I mean. This makes us happier in our own personal lives. And like eventually our son will clue in. He's testing us right now, and that's fine. This is new to him, right? But we're all working together, but he's having behavioral issues as well because him and like his dad, sorry, and the girlfriend are were having some issues, but they're getting better now or whatever. And he started acting out again, but he was getting better when we all started getting along. There's just like some stuff that's been bugging him lately, and he's like me, doesn't like to talk. I don't like talking about my stuff half the time. My ex-husband's kind of used to that, but at the same time, it's not acceptable working together though. That's the thing. And my son cannot stand. But I don't care. Like you're not gonna be able to go around and test us and see this is the thing. He's at that age now. We need to break these habits. I was constantly talking shit about his dad. His dad was constantly talking shit about me when we first split up. And he's not used to it. He's not used to us getting along. He's especially not used to me getting along with his stepmom. And he blames her kids for everything he does wrong. So this
Maybe
is
there's a
all
little
about
jealousy
them.
going on too with the other kids.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're all getting along now, and it's like he's like, "Wow, testing us." But at the end of the day, we don't care. We're still going to keep working together, and this is what we need to do to make sure he grows up in a happy life. And it was something actually my mom said probably like, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago. But she said to the both of us, "You guys have done so much stuff in Bryson's short life. There's trauma that's there that will be irreversible." And I was like, she's not wrong. And
Has he
so,
gone to therapy at all?
not yet. We're trying to get him into therapy though, because the wait list,
Long.
it's yeah, because everyone thinks free. It's not free. Like we pay in
Do they have
taxes.
private ones you can do if you pay?
Yeah, but it's like 150 to $190 an hour.
A lot.
Yeah,
I
like
mean, you
that's
guys
the
could maybe you
thing.
could split it or something if it ever came to that, but it's hard. It's expensive.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I was just spending like a year fixing my mental health, so haven't been working. So I'm reapply like I'm starting to apply for jobs in December. Because I have my college diploma in medical admin, so I want to get back out there and working again. So at least I'll be able to make more money, and then we'll be able to afford more stuff.
Yeah, that'll be
But
good.
it
And
is
even if you guys do like
hard.
a family therapy, like the three of you, like that could be
Yeah,
helpful to talk to the therapist about some of the issues and stuff. And I know like
yeah,
we touched about like, narcissism, and I think it's clear that like Matt is, clearly a narcissist because like a lot of times like the public they look at these people and they're like, "Oh, he's such a good guy." Like, "Oh, yeah, they have a lot of friends. They're charming." Like he's a salesman. He could sell water to a fish. Like, you know what I mean? Like they'll make you they're manipulative. They use these like
yeah.
gaslighting tactics and things like that. And it goes into like the emotional abuse and like, when you're being physically abused, you have marks on you, you have bruises. Like people can look at you and see that you were hurt. But if somebody's emotionally, psychologically, financially abusing you, like these guys do,
Hmm.
it's hard because then like people are like, "Oh, well, what do you mean? He's a nice guy or whatever." And then it's like then comes like the slander train where I know you said like about reactive abuse and like I've seen like my ex, like as soon as I started getting a lot more followers and he never cared about my social media until I had like started to like go viral some of the videos. And
Yeah.
then he started basically going out of his way to try to like slander me and make up lies and putting things out there for the public to try to be like, "Oh, well, she's a liar. Look at this. She's crazy. Look at this." But it's like, wait a second. What actually was brought up in court? Because somebody could
Mhm.
be crazy, be a liar, be bad, whatever you want to call them, but a judge is not going to look at somebody's a judge is not going to look at anything unless it's shown in court. And if they know things that happened outside of court, they're supposed to recuse themselves. And he actually was like posting like a video claiming that I was saying bad things to Angelina, and he's saying that this was when she was 17 months old. And for the record, that's a lie because he took it completely out of context. And
Yep.
she was not 17 months old when he basically triggered me, made me angry to try to get a reaction out of me, and then started recording me. And
Yep.
Angelina at that time was 1 month old. And I specifically, distinctly remember she was exactly 1 month old because on that day, we celebrated her 1 month old day. I took the little pictures on the blanket, all that stuff. And
Oh, okay. Yeah.
after that call ended, we actually ended up going together, me, him, and Angelina. We drove 5 or 6 hours to go on a road trip to Ocean City, New Jersey. And we stayed there for like 3 or 4 days on a family vacation. And so, like, he's acting like I'm this like bad person and he's lying about her age. She was 1 month old. So I was like freshly postpartum. And
Yeah.
also, like, we had gone to therapy, and the therapist that spoke to us together said, like, listen, because I would say, like, Matt would say things to me like, I hate you. You're ugly. You're fat. You're stupid. No one's ever going to love you. You're worthless, this, and that. And I would say to the therapist, like, he's saying these things to me. It really hurts my feelings. And like, my
Yeah.
love language is like words of affirmation. So if people are telling me they love me and complimenting me and saying nice things, it makes me feel loved. If somebody's like,
Of
I
course.
hate you and insulting me, it hurts me versus
Of
other people
course.
might not get affected by the words. And so the therapist was like, listen, Matt, don't ever say anything to her that you wouldn't say to your mother, and don't say anything to her that you wouldn't say to Angelina. And so it's
Yeah.
like, if you're saying to her, you're ugly, would you say to Angelina, you're ugly? If you're saying to her, you're worthless, would you say, Angelina, you're worthless? And they're like, you are half of each child, it's half of their mom. And so it's like, if you're saying to her, your mom is ugly, they're thinking, okay, well, I must be ugly too, because I'm half of her. And so like, that's why it's so wrong to say those things to the mother of your child. And so on that day, before he started recording, he was yelling at me, telling me, you're worthless. I don't love you. I'm never going to love you. All this stuff. And I said to him, oh, would you say, Angelina, you're worthless? Would you say, Angelina, I'm never going to love you? Would you say all this? And then he starts recording me secretly. And then when I said it, he's like, oh, I'm so glad I got that on recording. I'm so glad. And it's like, then do you think he called the cops? Do you think that he
Yeah.
called DCF? Do you think that he took me to court? Do you think he did any of that? No, that was in 2019, in June of 2019. And immediately after, he apologized to me and we went together to another state for a vacation, to a beach vacation, which I have all the pictures from that trip still of us smiling like a happy family together in the beach.
Mhm.
And so it's like he wants to say I'm so crazy, I'm so bad. Well, then why did you let me have full residency of her for 4 years? Why was it okay for me to take care of
Exactly.
her by myself for all those years? And if I was so bad, why didn't you call DCF? Why didn't you
Yeah.
say to them, hey, she's crazy? Or why don't you try to take Angelina? Because it's all reactive abuse. And I just wanted to, like, people kept asking me about that. And I wanted to like set that straight because also when you're so fresh postpartum and you don't have a lot of support and your partner is like doing this reactive abuse, and like, that's what I mean. It's like nobody has perfect mental health. And in these
No.
days, this world, everybody's traumatized. Everyone has issues. And like you said, after COVID, it got worse. And I
Oh
think like
yeah.
I truly wish that regardless of what Matt did, regardless of what his family did, regardless of what his son did, I wish that he could have an attitude like your ex has to say, listen, let's focus on what's best for Angelina. And I want to
Mhm.
support your relationship with her. And whatever it is, we're going to work together. Like, I hope and pray that he can have the maturity to like want to like be a good parent and do what's right and like co-parent.
Mhm.
And it sounds like you're at
Mhm.
that place now, and I'm so happy for you. And I feel like that's what everybody should strive to
It
be because,
it was hard.
well, you know what, every day it's going to get easier and easier, and the older kids get, then the easier it is too.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like I didn't really consider that stuff obviously before. I'm like my son, after I did like what I did to myself, I was like, okay, I'm done. Never gonna see my son again, right? I saw him 3 days later. Like, really, Alex, calm down. And then no, it's like he's speaking for himself now. He's constantly, I don't know why this is right here, constantly making me stuff in school, begging me to take him
Aw,
back, writing me notes. Like as if
that's so
he
cute.
thinks that like I know, but it's like he thinks I don't want him, and that's not even true. It is me and my ex working together about trying to figure out what the next steps are. And in all fairness, this is new to me and him, where we're actually communicating, have our boundaries, kind of getting to this point where it's not if you go back to a normal routine with your mom, it's when. So we're just like, I'm happy he's speaking for himself now. And he says it himself, Mom, I can tell you're happier now. I know you still have your moments where I get sad, but the thing is, he even said, he's like, Mom, please never get another boyfriend. Okay. Okay. He's like, I will be your man. Okay. No, but he unfortunately saw my ex, not my ex-husband, like the guy I was with after. He unfortunately did see one of the attacks one time, and I hated myself for it. I just showed my ex-husband the video the other day that I recorded, and you hear my son's little precious 2.5-year-old voice saying, I just need to tell daddy what PJ did in your car. I'm like, no. He hears me screaming no. So my ex now, like my ex-husband, he's like, I can tell you weren't lying. Why would I lie about that stuff, right? And he's like, I never thought you were, but you have to understand, you were drunk. He's not wrong. I can understand that. Okay. And that's the thing. I had to understand why he felt all the ways he did because that idiot was hitting me and our kid was around. I didn't know he knew. That is horrible behavior on my part. I accepted I was screwing up and I wanted to get better. So it took a lot on my part too, admitting, you know what? I'm a shitty mom right this moment, but it's not, I'm a shitty mom all the time. It's like how people say it's a bad chapter, it's not a bad life. It's the
Yeah, and if
same
anything, that
thing.
makes you a good mom for seeing there's a problem, addressing
Yeah.
it, and trying to move forward and fix it. And some moms will choose the boyfriend over the kid and continue it forever. And so, like you should give yourself credit for how far you've come and, don't ever say you're not a good mom. And, hopefully you guys can get in therapy soon to work through some of these lingering things that are going to come up. But it sounds like everybody's at least on the same page.
Yeah, it's like our paths are coming back together. Like I'm just happy he's like, I don't know what's going on with the relationship. I don't like to ask too much info. I got too invested and then I was being stuck in the middle. I just didn't want to do it anymore. But I do feel like our paths are trying to go back for Bryson. That's all that's here in our minds, all of us. It's Bryson, Bryson, Bryson. It's no jealousy crap, it's no mental health crap. And if anything, getting away and being here. And it's sad. I miss my boy, obviously. This was the only time in my life I've been able to take control and get help properly for my mental health. To the point that after 17 years, yeah, 17 years, I'm finally not at all nine criteria for BPD. I've made it down to four and I've never been able to do that. And so, like going to my ex and being able to be like, bam, I told you I could do it. I'm not gonna lie, that is the toxic little joke in me where I'm like, I'm just toxic, sorry. He's like, you're not toxic, you should be proud. I am proud. I also could care less about ever touching a drink again. Ew. Like, just no, because it's not even the drinking aspect. It's I think about that guy who thought it was appropriate to put his hands on me in front of my son. Like that's just disgusting. And so I will never, that's why I've said to my son, don't ask, like I agree with you. I will never have another boyfriend. I never wanted, I'm fine being single, perfectly healthy, fine. And I just think that's what is best for me. I feel after everything that happened in my marriage, that I just feel like I needed to go through it and have a wake up call. And he asked me still to this day, I just don't get it. You had everything and you just gone. And I'm like, that's addiction. End of story. It's addiction. You have everything and then you lose it and you hit rock bottom. Where you go? Up. So that's all I've been doing is going back up and trying to do better. And The fact is, it took me and his girlfriend 4 years to even have any form of communication. So the fact that we are, I know, I know I've been doing really well. Every single time I get in my head, I'm not even kidding you. I think about your story because I'm like, I'm sitting here complaining about not seeing Bryson for all of 4 days. Like, think about Theo, you freaking selfish bitch.
I know.
Literally, that's what I always think about for this whole entire like year and a bit that this has been going on. I'm not even kidding. I think about that and I'm like, I don't know how this girl is going. Like, I truly don't. You got some serious power, and that's because you know you're not wrong. And that's why you're never gonna stop. And that's why your video made me freaking die this morning laughing. Get ready with me while
Yeah.
I explain to you why I
Yeah.
gave up.
Like those comments, it's like, what do you want me to be like? Okay. Like, but the fact that my account got banned for the third time in 3 months and these people sit there, report, 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 it hurts me because like I'm trying to not only like get the truth out there, but
Yeah.
also to like be like a platform for other people to help them, like to show women how to recognize the signs of abuse, how to recognize these unhealthy behaviors and leave
Yeah.
before it gets too late. Because like how many women end up
Mhm.
getting murdered by their husbands and the court system only cares when it's too late. And so I think
Mhm.
that people need to really like take mental health seriously, take like signs of abuse that are not physical, because everybody knows, okay, punching, hitting, whatever, but there's way
Yeah.
more ways that someone can abuse you. And those are the more discreet ways that's hard to pick up on until you're so deep in it. So I just
Well,
hope that
exactly.
I hope and pray that my account will get restored. Please keep praying that it will.
I
But
will. I keep like doing that the way you told me to do it. I did it that day you told me when you were on live at night, and then I did it yesterday, but I've been busy today. I'm not gonna lie, getting
okay.
myself
Thank you
all
so
together.
much.
But I do keep doing it because it's like even me, I have videos from that account I have a duet with, and
Yeah.
now it
And
says
then it
video
ruins it.
unavailable. Like literally, I had like I know like the other ones got more views now, but that one that I did with you, I think you were holding Angelina in the video. I can't remember which one it was, but either way, it had like over 800. And then that's when I got that comment from that stupid account, um, the delusions one or whatever. And so I went and clicked it and I listened, and I'm like, I'm overanalyzing because, like I said, I'm a receipt keeper too, and I'm like, she's not old. No, that's reactive abuse. Then I go and look at all the other crap, and I'm like, literally, there's only one recording.
Yeah. Which
What's
cannot
the
be
rest of it?
authenticated and they're lying about the context and the time that took place. But everything
And I
else I
just think
have,
it's
I got stuff with timestamps, I got videos, I
right.
got everything. And I have so much stuff I didn't
Me
post
too.
yet. So I hope everybody keeps checking in because there's way more to come. And
Oh, I keep listening every day. I go to your page every time I go
yeah,
outside to, I don't want to say it because this will probably get banned off the internet. But yeah, when I'm out there, I just like sit there and I'm just listening to the recordings the whole time.
I know, right? It's like entertaining. Like,
It's just like every time I'm like, Matt, you're so lucky I'm in Canada and do not have a passport. And no, that's not a threat to put my hands on you. I would just scream in his face. Like that's the person I am. Oh, I'm
didn't
gonna
you
come for
DM him
a supervisor.
before?
What?
Didn't you DM him once?
No,
Oh,
I
that
don't
was
know.
someone else.
Yeah, no, I didn't know if he had socials. Like I'm the toxic person that would tag him in my videos.
Yeah, don't. He'll like get like a restraining order on you.
I
Like
know. Somehow get an American restraining order on a
he'll send like
Canadian.
the American police to come find you.
Jesus. I feel like I don't know. No, make a burner account. Honestly, he just drives me crazy every single time I hear his voice. And that's why I had to make that comical joke the other day. I'm like, was it even, fun? You're like, no.
I
And
wish it was.
that's why it's killing me every time I hear him. And I'm like, someone needs to go to sex addict therapy. Like,
He does. I hope he's listening. He even commented on my YouTube saying, I want to come on the podcast as a guest, but he knows that I can't talk to him, but he's asking to be a guest. So, you know what? Hopefully, he'll drop all the charges, drop the protective order or whatever he's got, and we could work things out and start co parenting for our daughter's best interest. And he can
that's
come on the
the thing.
podcast then.
Exactly. At the end of the day, like, let's be real. Right now, the feelings are enraged for both of you. Well, he has no reason. You, yes. But it's like, I do hope for Angelina's benefit and obviously yours that, everything can just go normal eventually. Like, but if
Yeah.
he can't grow up, okay, then fine. I hope that somebody in the political party of the way it works there, that it works out for you because, like, this is stupid.
Yeah, if he's not going to do it willingly, I'm just going to have to keep going through all the legal channels I can to keep
Don't
fighting,
give
but
up.
I'm not going to give up and
Good.
but
Because,
thank you so
like,
much for doing this today.
of
Is there
course.
anything that you want the listeners to know before we end?
Um, Matt, sorry. Like, there's stuff I can't say on TikTok and comments. Um, but no, I really just honestly, my biggest thing now that I can actually say this to you, I really do hope things work out so that, like, for Angelina's benefit. And I swear to God, if he continues to keep making her try to hate you, continue to record everything. Screw all the people on here that keep trying to say don't keep receipts. Receipts are so important. 20 years from now,
Exactly.
they're important. My lawyer told
100%.
me. So you keep
Well,
going. Like, I think you're
thank you
doing
so
amazing.
much. And you are too. And keep going and doing what you're doing. And you're a great mom. So
Thank
don't forget
you.
that. But
Well,
I'll
thank
talk to
you.
you soon. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Talk
Bye.
to you later. Bye.